Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another episode of Little Modular. Today we will make friends with this incredibly useful module called Ellis by LIVESTOCK Electronics. If you have seen my previous videos, you probably know that I'm a big fan of LIVESTOCK Electronics because each time they release a new module, it's a really innovative and useful module. So the same applies to Ellis, which is just super useful, especially in the live context. I've been struggling with setting up my live rig for about 2 years now, and I'm almost there. It's actually happening mainly due to the Metron sequencer, which kind of did it for me. But I'm also a great fan of switchers, matrices, and one of the other products from LIVESTOCK Electronics is the Maze matrix switcher, which is off the screen currently. And the Maze, which can actually be connected to this and work together with Ellis, really injected some life into my live rig. And this is the second module that just completely changed the game. What is Ellis? Well, it's a preset manager. What you have here is 8 CV outputs, and you can set up a different value for each CV out. And then you can store those different configurations in presets. So currently I have all 8 outputs connected to different modules which make up a patch, and I can set a different value for each output, and I can instantly change those 8 values at the same time just by pressing the matrix here. Each of those buttons are a different preset, a different configuration of all of the 8 outputs. So if I press my sequencer right now, I can switch between those different presets. And there is a lot of those presets because we have banks here. So as you can see, 8 banks times 8 buttons, 8 presets. And we have 2 sides, a red side and a blue side or cyan side, whatever. I don't know what the colors are because I have this visual disability, so don't quote me on the colors here. Okay, so a lot of presets that can be instantly stored, that can be switched manually, can be faded from one preset to other preset, can be morphed also manually, can be morphed with the aid of a CV, of a trigger signal. So let's start with the patch I have here. A few words about that. The source is also LIVESTOCK Electronics Bang oscillator. It goes through Kurgasmatron filter and the VCA by IntelliGel. This VCA is triggered by Leap module, another module by LIVESTOCK Electronics. This is an envelope and LFO, and there is another video on that on my channel, so please check it out. And the way I have set it up here is that I have connected the first and second outputs to the filter. So the first out is controlling the filter cutoff. The second out is controlling the resonance. Then I have 2 following outputs, 3 and 4. 3 is controlling the wet amount on the ZDSP, which I haven't mentioned yet. Yeah, all of that goes through ZDSP by Tip Audio, which has the echo tape in it. So that's the wet for the ZDSP, and then I'm using output number 4 for controlling the time parameter on it. And the bottom row are controlling the bank parameters. So 5 is controlling the volt per octave, so the pitch of the oscillator. And then I have connected 3 remaining outputs for controlling those 3 different parameters on bang. And that's pretty much it. First of all, what you need to understand is that you have 2 sides, red and this greenish bluish. Let's call it green, okay, for now. So red and green. But if you want to edit, you can only edit the red one. That's where you edit. And for now, let's stick with that, because that was the one potential source of confusion for me. And that's because it was designed too simple for me, okay? It was so simple, I got confused. So I reckon it might be the same thing with you. So let's just stick with the red for now, okay? Then we can edit a preset by pressing this button right here. If you press it for a bit longer, it goes into the settings mode, which I'll tell you about at the end of this video. And here we have 2 knobs. That's the fade knob. You can change the values of each of the output with that. And you can also fade between presets with that. And here you have the morph knob, which allows you to set the time of morphing between presets. Besides that, we have some ins in here, so we can select presets within each of the sides with CV. We also have a transposition input that allows you to apply some offset to all of the CV out simultaneously. We also can control morph and fade knobs with external signals. And then in the middle, there is this really useful trig out, which sends a trig or gate each time you press or hold a button on the matrix. This means that each time you change a preset in here, you can also change some presets or different parameters, whatever floats your boat, in some other module. It's a really clever system. So allow me to show the workflow with that. So first we need to edit a preset, okay? So we need to go to edit. Here you choose which preset you want to edit. The PF means that you are editing the preset that is chosen currently. If you want to choose some other preset for editing, you just choose the one with the P1 up to 8 and so on. But for now, I would suggest that you stick with the PF, because that's the safest mode and it will not get you confused. So for now, whatever you do, just go with the leftmost setting. So it's PF always. So you know that you are actually editing the preset that you are currently on, okay? And now, when you do that, you choose the output that you wanna edit. So if you choose that, then you can just apply the desired CV to that particular output. So output number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So that's the drill. You choose an output and you twist the knob. Simple as that. When you are done, you just press the knob again, and that's saved. If you want to go out of this mode, you just press the function button again, and here you can just choose different presets. Before we make a preset, let's go the easy route, okay? I'll start my eloquencer, and you can roll your own, but you can also randomize each of the presets just by holding it, like so. And I can go to another preset, and I can also randomize it by holding it. And now I can switch between them. The fourth one, let's adjust the settings manually. So I need to go to the edit mode, PF4 as you can see, yeah, because we're on preset number 4. And I'm gonna adjust some parameters. First of all, I wanna change the pitch on my oscillator, which is output number 5. I press the output, adjust the value to liking, press it again, And let's maybe add some resonance to it. Okay, and maybe let's make it a bit wet, and let's adjust the time on the delay, and let's save it. Okay, it's saved, and now I can just switch between those. I can also copy a preset to another slot. So we just need to press select, then press and hold the preset you want to copy, and press the target preset. But be careful, because if you hold that too long, it will just randomize the preset. So I'm holding number 4, pressing number 5. So now the same preset is at the slot number 5. Alright? Now, I can apply a different morphing time, so the presets will morph gradually, as you can hear. So this time can be longer or shorter, and you can set the ranges of morphing within the settings. So those ranges can be longer or shorter, whatever you want. But that's just the half of the story, because we have another half, which means the green side. So how does it work? Super simple. We have our presets, right? So I switch between the sides with that button right here. Now, if I want to use another preset, let's say I want preset number 5 on the green side, but preset number 1 on red side. So if I gonna do that, then on this side I will just hear the green preset, and on this side I'm fading to the red side. So if I choose this preset or this one, that's what I'm gonna hear on the left side. If I go here, I'm hearing a preset that is chosen here, okay? So you need to remember which side you are on, otherwise you won't be able to hear the current preset unless you are at the correct side. Okay, so another thing we could do is we can sequence the presets for each of the sides. And you can do that in 3 ways. You can do that with the CV, with the trigger, or with the random. I will use the CV. You can change the way this input behave and sequence algorithm in the settings, which I'll talk about in a second. Let's try to do that. I'm applying a CV signal from the same sequencing line from Eloquencer that is driving the whole patch. So I'm using the CV out of Eloquencer to change the presets on the red side, because that's where we at now. Okay? Now I could do the same thing for the blue thing, but we will need to switch here. As you can hear. Okay? So we can see it. You can also use this input right here to offset all of the out simultaneously. Let's do that right now. I'm connecting this to the mix switch by Clavis, and let's see what happens. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Also, okay. Me like it. It's great stuff. Then you also have the morph and the fade, so it's pretty obvious. Now let's go to the settings quickly. You go there by pushing and holding the function right here while you are in the preset switching mode. Okay, here we go. Here we have the firmware number, and the first two buttons here show you the switching for left and right side, so for the red and green. And that's the one for the CV. You can also switch it for triggering and the random algorithm. Here you have the deselect behavior. I like to use the red one because it means that whenever you deselect an output in the editing mode, it will just stay at what you did. You can also use the green, so it goes to 0 whenever you deselect it, or you can go to the orange, and that means that it will just go to the previous value. We also have those two buttons right here. So this sets the output CV format. You can use the volt per octave, so it's greenish, and it means that it will just output a chromatic signal, like it's a quantizer for a chromatic scale. So it's great if you want to use it as a stepped source for controlling, for instance, volt per octave, or you can just use it as a standard volts output. And in this instance, it will output values from -5 to +5 volts. The last button right here is responsible for the morphing speed adjustments, for the speed ranges. So we get fast, quick, medium, and slow settings. I'll stick with the default first one because it just works well. And yeah, that's it as for this module. It did change the game for me while using it in my live rig. But for now, thank you for watching. If you found that video useful, if it has inspired you in any way, please consider subscribing and liking this video. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.